Okay kids, for those of you who are complaining about my hair, I promise you I'll get a haircut, alright? Otherwise, stick to watching the show and learn what I'm showing you, and that's far more important than my hair, okay? And I'll tell you more, today I had the winter blues, and coming out of bed today was an effort. So what I'm going to show you, make sure you learn it. So getting out of bed was worthwhile. And because it's cold and miserable, I thought, maybe today we can cook baked beans, which are a staple. And again, as I keep saying, when you go away from home to study or to work or whatever, it's nice to have these classic things under your belt. So they're these white beans, they're called cannellini, you find them everywhere, and they're very cheap. And you put them in water to soak, cover a bowl like this with water and leave it there for as a minimum 12 hours, or you put them in the night before and by the next afternoon you're ready to go. So that's the principal ingredient, cannellini beans. You put them in a pot of boiling water with some salt, some bay leaf, but you don't have to, or any other ingredient to make a herb that might come in handy, and place them in a tray like this, right? See, I had an onion in there to give it some extra flavor. So first of all, we want to fry about 5 cloves of garlic, which are here, chopped up rather coarsely, with 1 large onion. Remember, that's the quantity. There'll be about 400-500 grams of beans. Some bacon. If you find chunky bacon, all the better. Some red and green capsicums, cut in fairly large square pieces, but it doesn't matter. And first we fry these off, okay? So you need about 4 tablespoons of oil. There you go. A little bit of extra oil doesn't hurt. And hear the sound of it. That lovely sound that announces the cooking is on the way. The sizzle. Nothing more pleasant when you cook than to hear the sounds of things frying or grilling, or the sound of a pot boiling away. So that we don't need to actually fry that to the bejeez. Just as long as it wilts, it'll be fine, because by the time I fry the bacon and then the capsicums, everything will be just ready to go onto the beans. But in the meantime, whilst that's happening, this is paprika. It gives lovely color and flavor. Put some of it already inside here, like this. That's enough. I don't think you need very, very much. Here I have some coriander seeds. In they go as well, just lightly pounded. There's another secret ingredient here, which I may as well throw in now, because there's no need to wait for it. This is my addition. You buy this in the supermarket. It's miso, little sachets of miso. It's a Japanese product, but it adds a little extra oomph to this dish, and to many dishes indeed. It's a natural product, and it's a fermented product, so it gives a bit of extra flavor and another dimension. This is another simple go-to soup when you haven't got much time to cook. So I'll just put it there. It will dissolve anyway the moment I put some liquid over it. It'll all fry. Oh, don't forget, of course, a nice big generous pinch of salt, because there's a lot of stuff going on in there. Let me tell you, let me reassure you, this doesn't need to go to great length, partly because, as I said, I'm now going to add a nice big, this is the equivalent of 3 rashers of bacon. Again, also this, in the cooking, it kind of all disappears, but it adds to the flavor element. I'll remove the rind, by the way, but if you had some rind left over, chuck it in there and you remove it after, because it's always flavor. I'm a flavor scavenger. But as I was saying, it doesn't matter if things are not cooked like it should, because the perfect truth is that these beans will take about 3 to 4 hours to cook in a gentle oven. So the other fantastic thing is you put it on and go away. As you can see, I don't know if you can see, but I assure you, it's just wilting away. And now a couple of handfuls of capsicums. I love those colors. And when you cook, kids, remember to enjoy the colors of the food, because the colors also reflect the seasons. I like to think of the seasons, not of the color of the supermarket, but you know, these days you find all the ingredients nearly all the time, rather than being seasonal and local, which is what we aspire to. Enjoying the color is just as much part of the pleasure of cooking as every other step. All right. 5 minutes, that's all you need, again, to wilt the ingredients and bring out some flavor. Now, before I add those ingredients in the pan, 2 more things. Making a mess here. This is thyme. It's a beautiful herb, very, very fragrant, and it goes very well with beans. You can buy that anywhere, it's readily available. Better still, if you live with mum and dad or whoever takes care of you and you've got a little garden, just plant thyme. You'll use it in chicken, in fish, in all sorts of things, in soups. It's a beautiful fragrance. And look, I'm getting so impatient. I leave it there with the stalk because there is flavor in these stalks as well. There. And a couple of bay leaves. These are quite strong, but I love bay leaf. Everyone loves bay leaf in there. And now, by the sound of it, it sounds as if I can add the contents of this really colorful pan. I'm being very naughty. I should have a wooden spoon or a heavy plastic spoon, but I'm not scraping the metal pan with the metal spoon. Partly because otherwise you ruin pans, and sometimes it's not a good thing to do, for you don't want to transfer metal flavor accidentally into your food. Or maybe that's a myth. I don't know. But look at that. There's a fair quantity of it, but I can assure you that it will all disappear and become part of the beans. And I'll also do this. I've got a bit of water because there's some precious juices there. And since we need more liquid in this pan, in this tray, I may as well collect this wonderful stuff and add it in. Okay, look at the beautiful colors. Of course, you need the tomato sauce, don't you? The very same tomato sauce from my first show. You freeze it, and I told you, you always need it. You could always bring it back. Tomato sauce in there. Now, a little gentle mix like that, just to see that everything is okay. We haven't forgotten anything. And at this point, already just the contact of the bay leaf with the heat from the fried veggies and bacon is already bursting out of this tray. It's unbelievable. And then some plain water. I reckon if you had chicken stock, it would even be better. But we have to put all this water in. See that? It's well covered. And possibly halfway through the cooking, after an hour and a half, 3/4, when you have a little taste and you have a look and see if all the flavors are working out, and some water is magically being absorbed or evaporated. I don't know where it goes, but it seems to always evaporate. At that point, you may add some more, and you can gauge when the beans are going to be cooked. But as I said, 3.5, even 4 hours at I'll say at 160 in the oven, okay? The next step is a little bit of paper. I always put baking paper between anything that has a tomato component, because I've always observed that tomato have enough acidity to actually make holes through this foil. So very tightly sealed. right? Be careful when you unpack it. So as I said, you don't break it and then you have to use it again. And this is ready for the oven. So put it in, give it 1 3/4 or so, at 160, check if you have to add salt, water, something else that takes your fancy, and then finish it off. And when it's finished, we add one magic ingredient because it's not done yet, okay? Here, you can recognize the beans. See, almost everything has kind of disappeared. The bay leaves are there. Some bits of red chili, capsicum, pieces of bacon, but it's all very well integrated. And halfway through, I did add a little bit more water. And now, what I'm going to add to complete the dish is a touch of maple syrup. This wonderful syrup. This brand is particularly good, but I can't pronounce it anyway. Try to get the best quality you can. And I pour it into the spoon so you can see how much. Now you can add more or less, but I don't like things that are overly sweet. So that's a good tablespoon, not this spoon, a normal domestic tablespoon. And I drizzle it over. I'll have a taste, and if I deem that I can put a bit more. I don't like it overly sweet, but I can tell you that without this ingredient, the dish is not the same. Okay? And here it is. By the way, you can freeze it, you can put it, you can do whatever you like. Chuck a couple of eggs in there and Bob's your uncle, or a sausage, even better. With respect to vegetarians. It's just right. Maybe just a dash more, because it's very intensely sweet. And there you go. And talking of vegetarians, there's absolutely no reason why you need the bacon if you don't want to. The dish works just as well. And if you are a vegetarian, you can become very creative. You can put some carrots in there, which I have omitted because I think otherwise I would have had a bench full of ingredients. But yeah, carrot would be fantastic. And then you can finish it off with other spices. You know, I love, say, a bit of chili. But I'm not recommending it to young people who may not be familiar with chili, but you can, there's as many variations as you like. Point of the matter is, if you're a vegetarian, you can have this on some lovely soft polenta, a baked mushroom. You know, the sky is really the limit. Enjoy it. See you next time.